Tony, let me start with the face mask call. If you and your friend is the head coach of the Lions, how do you think he's reacting today? How do you think Jim is feeling about that?
Well, he feels bad about that, but I think he feels worse about just what you're describing, the last play, because that's something you can do something about. The call, you really can't. I know when I worked for Chuck Noll, though, that was his pet peeve for officials. You can miss a call. You can say, hey, I had my head turned. I just saw the end of it. I didn't see the whole thing. But you can't call something that you didn't see. I heard Mike Carey's explanation, Dean Blandino, the head of officials. This is always called because it looks like. Yeah. But you can't call the face mask because a guy's head moves or it looks like they got it. You have to see that face mask grasp to call it, and that's just too bad. Lions lost the game to Seattle on the wrong call at the end of a game. This is two games where they could be 6-5 if the plays were just called properly. Instead, they're 4-7 or 4-8, whatever it is. But there would be outrage if this was another team, if this was the Green Bay Packers or a team that's in contention. But because it's the Lions, I don't think too much will be made of it. But to me, it just can't happen.
What did the Lions do wrong in the final play?
Well, you described it. First of all, you practice that all the time. I really don't believe in rushing three guys in that situation. I think you don't want the quarterback to have time. But the left defensive end with a right-handed quarterback, you can never, ever, ever come inside on that situation because the one thing you don't want him to do is be able to run to his right and build that momentum to throw. Force him to his left, make him step in the pocket, but you can't have that situation. And then where's Calvin Johnson? If they've got one play to throw it in the end zone, I got to have a big guy back there to be up there and knock the ball down. Everybody's kind of looking around. Nobody's seeing the ball. You have to have one guy who's jumping that all he's doing is seeing the ball at that point. And you practice that every Friday, every Saturday. It just you feel bad to lose a game like that.
But you have more of a problem with the secondary or the rush.
Both. I mean, the whole thing. First of all, he should never get that much time, 5 or 6 seconds, to let everybody run down there. You can't let him run to his right. The defensive left end, I'm not sure who it was, but he rushed inside, took the bait. The right tackle stepped way outside him, and that let Rodgers roll around. You got to have your rush so that doesn't happen. And then in the secondary, you've got to be back there. You have to have one guy who's designated to go up and get that ball, and he's got to be at the goal line so he gets his hands on it first. Things can happen, and those plays are, they're one in a million plays, but you have to do everything you can to eliminate that.
I thought about the Calvin Johnson putting him in there. I guess I just didn't think that the Packers were going to complete it. But, that's the point is you have to assume that they have a chance to do this, and you put Calvin back there at 6'5" or 6'6", and he's going to be able to match up with Rodgers and at least knock the ball down if it comes their way. But
and you do. You think 99 times out of 100, 9,000 times out of whatever, it won't come down to that. But that one time it does, you want to take every opportunity that you have to make sure it doesn't happen. But really, when they lined up with a three-man rush, I immediately thought, boy, this is giving them a chance. This is giving them an opportunity. They need time to get all those receivers down there. I just didn't like the three-man rush.
Tony Dungy joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I also thought this masked Green Bay's problems, that this sort of, hey, you guys won in dramatic fashion. I would look at this if I'm Mike McCarthy and say, we still have some real issues. We were down 20-0. We got helped out a couple of times here, but I'm still not seeing that 6-0 Packer team from the start of the season.
No, it's not. Julius Peppers made a great play to get them going. They fumble a ball into the end zone that gave them their first points. There were some issues there. They're still not scaring people on the outside. Everybody is saying, we will let the balls go to your outside receivers. We're going to try to take away the inside. And they've got to do something about that. It's not the same Packer team that we're used to seeing. And you're correct. Even their victory against Minnesota, Rodgers completing under 50% of his passes. We're just not seeing that dynamic offense that we're used to seeing from the Packers.
Before I let you go, everybody's choosing their words carefully in Denver here, Tony, about Peyton Manning, that it's his team when he returns. Do you really believe that it's Peyton's team when he returns, no matter how Brock Osweiler plays?
Well, no, you have to determine what gives you the best chance to win. And this Peyton Manning situation is not like Andrew Luck. They're talking, and we're going to have the game Sunday night. Well, what happens when Luck comes back and he's ready to go? You have to put Luck back in because he's your future, and that's who you're building around. In this situation, you got to decide who gives us the best chance to go to the Super Bowl. I still think if Peyton Manning is healthy and throwing the ball like he can, that he gives them the best chance to go to the Super Bowl. But if you're Gary Kubiak and Osweiler plays well and you feel like he gives you the best chance, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, I don't think Peyton gives you the best chance because I haven't seen him throw like he once did. It's been a while since I've seen that, and I don't think you can just say, hey, take a couple of weeks off, and Peyton's going to throw like, Peyton Manning circa 2010.
No question. You have to see it in practice. You have to be convinced of what you're getting. And to me, that's an easy call to make, to say, hey, in week 17, week 18, first week of the playoffs, I watched Peyton Manning throw, and he's not quite there. He's not throwing like he can, and Osweiler gives us the best chance to win. I don't think that's a tough call to make. We'll see what happens down the road, but, to me, they're two completely different situations. If I'm Chuck Pagano, though, and people ask him what happens when Luck gets back, when he's ready to go, you have to put him in.
Yeah, even though we've, Rodney and you have pointed out that Hasselbeck has played better with that offense because he's not going for a home run, not going for a touchdown all the time, whereas Andrew Luck is maybe going for the home run ball a little bit more. But he is your future. I just think that they're looking now at cold weather in Denver, or if you go to New England, Brock Osweiler will give you a better chance than Peyton Manning will, no matter how healthy Peyton is.
Well, I don't know about that, but if that's the case, if that's what you think as the head coach, you have to play Osweiler, and you can't look back. You've got to do what you can and say, we're in this for 1 year to win a Super Bowl.
Thank you, Tone. I'll see you this weekend.
All right, Dan.
Thank you,
we'll
bud.
See you.
All right, Tony Dungy, Football Night in America.